What the hell is wrong with us?
We're tired. We're tired, Fred.
Yeah,
Which
we've
is the
both
best
been
time
working.
to record.
We've both been working long, stupid hours at work today, and we just
Well,
decided.
Mine's not as long. I just had to use my brain.
Yeah, well, that's always a problem when we have to work. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
It's time for more Action Film Life.
Woo.
For real this time. For real this time. We had a mistake.
Technical issue. It's fine.
Look, at least we only did like 5 minutes before we realised.
We didn't even say the first film. I don't remember what it was. I think it began with an A.
It did not.
No, there we go then.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Action Film Life with myself, the average Fred, and the lovely Lottie.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome
There
back.
she is. Yes, it's time for us to stumble our way through 3 varying quality action films spoil them ridiculously for you and tell you whether they're any good or not.
I mean, you can pause and watch all 3 of them now if you really want to.
I mean, some of them they really shouldn't. Some of them are questionable. Just look at anything on the D tier and just avoid it like the plague.
I don't even know what I'm going to give these yet.
Oh wow! Oh, you're winging it.
That was what the A was for.
Well, whichever film Lottie is going to give an A rank is a mystery even to me. I've already made up my rankings for these 3 films, but we're going to start. We have a duology to get through, as you know by the thumbnail, and one random TV show adaptation that we put on this list.
Because
we put a few of these. Well, we also put these on the list. You know, we went through and watched the Charlie's Angels trilogy.
Yeah.
And then we went and looked at other 70s TV shows that have been made into films.
Yeah, because that was one of the jokes in the opening of Charlie's Angels, that they're just remaking all these 70s TV shows into films.
And we were like, well, what other 70s TV shows did they make?
Starsky and Hutch, but that's not really action. And then I think we Googled it and we're like, oh, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah,
Which
we
is
put...
the film that we're watching.
What else did we put on it? Oh, we put the A-Team on there
the
as well,
A-Team.
didn't we? Yeah,
Can't
with
wait
Liam
till we get to
Neeson
that.
and Bradley
Love the
Cooper.
A-Team.
In fact, we might have enough for just like a triple bill of TV remakes. Maybe that can be our next episode, is like TV remakes.
Oh, I love TV and I love remakes.
Well, there you go. It'll be triple A rank or triple S rank.
They're just all going to be
SSSSS.
SSSSS.
So, speaking of TV remakes, though, we're going to start with a very odd film to talk about. It's Dukes of Hazzard in 2005, I believe.
I was like, what year did this come out?
Yeah, I didn't write that down on my notes, which was the big oversight there, but it'll be on the screen for everyone else to see now. Lottie, would you mind rattling off the plot synopsis for us in your wonderfully fabulous voice?
Let me just...
It's your one job, Lottie. Get it right.
Let's just see if I could do it first time.
It's not the most difficult one we've got today, though, to be honest. So
okay, I'm just not going to look at you.
And scene.
Cousins Bo, Luke and Daisy Duke and their Uncle Jesse egg on the authorities of Hazzard County, Boss Hogg and Sheriff Coltrane. Oh, I lost it at the end there.
What a Coltrane.
Sheriff Coltrane.
Yeah. One thing, we discussed this before we recorded. The plot synopses I ripped straight off the IMDb front page of these films.
Really hard to say.
All 3 of them don't really get what these films are about this week as well.
No,
I feel like they're
like
pretty vague in terms of...
I don't think they did egg on the authorities of Hazzard County. I feel like it was the other way round.
Yeah, so this is a... Yeah, Boss Hogg especially is definitely
he was egging
on the Duke's family,
yeah.
like more than. And whilst we're at it, we might as well just mention like the massive names that somehow Dukes of Hazzard like pulled in for their films. So the titular Dukes are Sean William Scott and Johnny Knoxville of Jackass fame. And Sean William Scott is, of course, one of our favourite boys from Bulletproof Monk.
He keeps appearing every now and again. Do you love to see his face?
Yeah, his Final Destination,
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jungle,
Yeah.
and Bulletproof Monk.
Yeah.
Their Uncle Jesse is played by legendary country singer Willie Nelson.
He
For
was.
some reason.
He
And-
looking great, I might
Yeah.
say.
And Boss Hogg is played by, like, none other than iconic Burt Reynolds. For some reason. Like, he really...
looked fantastic as well. But don't forget that Daisy Duke was Jessica Simpson. Another
I
big
was
name.
just about to get well, possibly a big name in the music world at that point, but for some reason, I'm not sure what she liked about the script, but this was her very first film debut.
Aww.
I know, and it was Dukes of Hazzard. Now, I'm saying that with the pretense that I'm going to absolutely shit on this film, but I'm not. But I feel bad about that in a way, and it's a tricky thing to talk about in a sense.
I guess we should start with the elephant in the room, get that out of the way, which is
the
the
elephant in the room?
the car, the iconic
The
Dukes
car.
of Hazzard car, which I didn't I never watched the TV show. I mean, I expect
neither,
you didn't
no.
because
No.
it probably wasn't aired here. Or if it was on a channel that we didn't have
Yeah.
growing up. But the car has the Confederate flag of America on the top of it.
Yeah, just emblazoned like all over the roof of a Dodge Charger. So like iconic American muscle car with just a big old Confederate flag on the top, and it's one of the weirdest things in the film because they try desperately to address it in some very odd ways, but I don't know if they do a good job of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was put on there without the cousin's knowledge. They find out when they're driving around, someone points it out, and then they try and sort of scratch it off a little bit, and then they
They
forget
don't
it's
even
there.
do that. Like,
Did they not? I thought they kind of went, "Oh no, get it off."
yeah, this is the thing, because I don't think the original, when they start the film, I don't think it has it on it.
No.
But then the car gets
a
totaled,
revamp.
and their mechanic friend, who I can't remember who it's played by, he appears in tons of stuff, and I've just forgotten his name. But he rejigs the car. He gives it a whole new paint job, a whole tune up, and fixes it for them. But like you said, he emblazons it with a massive Confederate flag. And then for plot reasons, they have to drive all the way out to Atlanta from back Redneck County, all the way out to Atlanta. And there's a very weird scene where they stop at a traffic light and 3 separate cars pass them. 2 of them going "What the fuck are you doing? What is that doing on your car?"
You.
And
Yeah. And the
and
other
a
guy
couple
was
of them
like,
going
"Woohoo,
"The South will
South!"
rise again." And
And they were confused, and I was confused, and then we both were like, "Oh," at the same time.
Well, yeah, but
Because I didn't even notice it until they noticed it.
Well, because they don't do a lot of big overhead shots of the car, so it's almost as if the filmmakers themselves knew, and they were just well,
We've got to say
we can't
something,
really show it that much.
but we can't but we can't say something at the same time. I guess they were trying
Yeah.
to please the middle, and I don't know. And then they ignored it for the rest of the film, which
Well, not without going off on one of the most poorly, I think one of the poorest decisions of the film in terms of comedic tone is that for the plot reasons that they're in Atlanta, they visit a scientist to determine what this core sample is, and in the process they get coal dust or some sort of soot blown onto their face. Yeah, it's such a bad move, but essentially they end up with what is akin to blackface. It's it's clearly coal dust on their face, but they are clearly
they get
and this is the
arrested
thing.
for it, despite the fact that they were not intentionally doing that. But having soot on your face in a car that's got the Confederate flag and then being pulled over by the police. That's what they're going to assume.
That I don't even remember them getting arrested. What I do remember
They get
is
arrested for it, yeah.
they pull up at some traffic lights, and then this like gang of black men just sort of like surround the car and just like, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, yeah, what the fuck are you doing, film?
I forgot about. I must have blanked it. That's not great.
Yeah.
I think
But
they
they
maybe should have
almost
left it at them trying to scrape it off and then forgetting about it would have worked a lot better. But hey, it was 2005 and that's the sort of thing that happened back then.
I don't. But this is the thing. It's the sort of thing that shouldn't have happened.
No.
Because all it would have taken to avoid this entire thing would just be to put a regular American flag on the top of it. And I doubt, like, you would have had anyone being like, oh my god, you ruined the Dukes of Hazzard car, because it's racist as shit. And you're just
yeah. I mean, the amount of oh my gosh, what's the word for it? The amount of flack that I gave transporter films for having human trafficking all throughout their films. I can't really let Duke of Hazzards pass.
Yeah.
Because
well, this is the thing.
When they have a human traffic sort of symbol on the top of their car.
Yeah, right. However, and I don't want to however that, because like it's a big like red flag over the film.
I know. It does kind of ruin it a little bit.
Yeah. But it's what's so conflicting about it, because aside from this whole...
Yeah, aside from that
bit,
really
the rest of the
enjoyable
film is actually quite enjoyable. It's
about these two little dummy cousins, Bo and Luke. And they're, you know, they're not very smart, but they got a lot of heart. Best kind of protagonist. They get
Johnny Knoxville is the sort of like
slightly smarter brother.
Womanizer around town somehow.
It's the car man.
It's the
or the moonshine.
The film starts out,
yeah.
The film starts out with him like, you know, like seducing someone again, and then they're like, it's like, wait for her dad, like if her dad comes home, let me know, and the dad immediately shows up, and it's just like, but it's that sort of
and then they get chased by the father in a car with a giant machine gun on it, or minigun on it, or something weird like that.
Yeah,
it was that was fun, having a little car chase.
Yeah, and like Sean William Scott, like he impressed us the most, I think, because there are some
very good
intense sequences of him. Like
I think that down
because we'll get to Mr. Nicolas Cage later, but Sean William Scott seems to have his own brand of Nicolas Cage insanity that he seems to like bring forward into the film at certain points. I think
he's just incredibly good at playing dumb characters. And I think the hair probably helped. His hairstyle there, just I don't know what it was about that hair, but it was just thinking, oh, what a sweet little boy. But his face that I think it was when he found out about Luke and Katie, so he had a crush on this girl for ages. And she's off in university now, and they go and visit her, and he's trying to impress her, and then he finds out that his cousin Luke used to date her back when she was in Hazzard County, and the face that he gives Luke when he finds out, he's driving a man, not looking at the road, just giving this face to him, and I lost it. I was like,
it's a kid. He gives those like complete like psychopath eyes, doesn't it?
Crazy frown, and I was like, oh no.
Because I thought it was in the Atlanta segment that they did this, like because I do remember him like doing the slow like Stewie Griffin head turn and just be like, what the fuck?
And that face. I wrote that down because I love that face so much.
It is, but that's it. It's that sort of like unhinged insanity that no other character really has in the film, but Sean William Scott just brings it in spades. It's so funny.
So funny. He was probably the best part of the film, actually. I think. I think he did the best job. Not that the others
Well,
were
this is the
bad.
thing.
They were also very good.
So, IMDb. We'll just go on to ratings because
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot
You
that
forgot
bit.
to do that,
IMDb,
Fred.
straight down the middle, 5.1 out of 10.
Can't believe that got better rating than the one.
Everything got a better rating than the one for some reason.
Because of TK, wasn't it?
Yeah, Metacritic gave it a 33 out of 100. So they were a bit harsher to it.
Oh, maybe it was the flag.
And I did my little, trivia trawl through it. Apparently, all of the original Duke cousins and, the uncle were offered cameos in the film, but they turned it down because they hated the script.
Oh.
They absolutely hated it.
Well, maybe it wasn't very true to the original TV show. I mean, we've never seen it, so we don't know, but I found that the Starsky and Hutch film wasn't very true to the originals. So maybe it's something similar to that.
I won't be able to comment on most of these TV show adaptations because aside from when we inevitably get to Thunderbirds, I haven't seen the original shows. And God help us when we get to the Thunderbirds review. I can't wait
until we get to Thunderbirds.
I will be in a fountain of rage for that film.
And that's going to make me so amused. I might watch you rather than the film.
Yeah, that's so. Oh God! Now I have a feeling of what we're watching on Friday. Oh,
Thunderbirds to go!
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much already.
Anyway, back to Dukes of Hazzard.
So, there's so. I mean, we haven't talked much about the other people in the film because it seems to boil down that
it kind of
it's
focuses
a forgettable
on
plot.
The two cousins, Bo and Luke, and then Boss Hogg, and then the rest of the characters just sort of circle around them and do some stuff.
Yeah, and Boss Hogg is played serviceably well by Ryan.
Yeah,
Ryan
he does
Reynolds.
a good job.
I keep saying Ryan Reynolds. It's Burt Reynolds, for fuck's sake.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, no, I keep saying Ryan instead of Burt. And they're two very different people.
I forgive you.
Oh, that's good. No one else will.
Okay.
But yeah, Jessica Simpson.
She's just. I think she does pretty. Because it's her first film. I thought she did quite well.
I can, and
she didn't have a whole lot to do.
For what she has to do in the film, I can see why they hired Jessica Simpson.
Yeah,
because she is mainly there as seductress.
More to do. She was just there to look at me, boys. I'm pretty distraction. Yeah, and the only time that didn't work is when one of the police officers was a woman. Say, "Hey guys, what are you doing? Don't get distracted by her."
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we probably shouldn't."
Yeah, that. It seems it is on the surface of it a very predictable sort of film because Johnny Knoxville is there primarily just to do all these weirdly dangerous stunts. He gets dragged along the road on top of a safe at one point for quite an extended period of time. He gets thrown.
The car scenes were very good.
He gets thrown around an awful lot, and a lot of the stunts that he does.
I thought they were CGIs. Was that really him doing it?
I mean, because of his background in Jackass, I'm inclined to say that no, it wasn't CGI. Ooh. It probably is him, but obviously because it's a Hollywood film, there might have been a bit more safety precautions. Although maybe when the director...
They don't want to kill the star before the film's finished.
They don't want to kill Johnny Knoxville because they think he can take it. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, again, Willie Nelson is randomly there just kind of being...
He's pretty cool. He's just
being the grand old wise man. Yeah.
Good old Uncle Jesse, making some moonshine, singing some songs.
Yeah.
Getting kidnapped, I think.
The actual car chases in it and the racing. There's a whole racing sequence at the end.
Was what Need for Speed should have been. Because it was so entertaining. You don't see my terrible bored face.
No, I did not. No, I
was like, whoa, what are they going to do next?
Yeah, there's a whole big race at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is what the plot is kind of leading up to.
Mm.
Oh, pardon me, I'm getting the hiccups now. That's not good. But yeah, that race, there's just a big kind of cross-country rally race. across Dukes County or Hazard County, and it is entertaining. It is well shot. It is like
Very
the cars
good.
have a sense of speed to them, and there's some good stunts and crashes and everything in it. It's good fun. It's just that Atlanta segment. It's not well thought out at all.
No, it doesn't age well. I'm sure it wasn't aging well
It
at
probably
the time
wasn't.
either. At
It
the
probably
time, people
wasn't
were
a good
bit
idea
like,
at the
"Eesh."
time. Yeah. I'm curious to know your rating for this, Lottie.
Well, I was going to give it an A because I think it was the first film we watched after Need for Speed, and I was just so happy.
You were just so elevated by it, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Gonna give it an A.
I'm going to give it an A.
Give it
Okay,
an A.
well, I think simply because of the rest of the film is immensely entertaining. The Atlanta bit is just such a misstep in comedic timing and just comedic concepts in general that I'm just like, nah. So I put it as a B.
Yeah. Also,
But-
I was going to say the finale chase scene to the courthouse. So good.
Oh yeah, well they yes.
Yeah.
There's so much of that, and I think it's such an interesting, because I know it was in that time where like lots of people. This was like what 2 years after the second Charlie's Angels film.
I think
So
it was riding
Hollywood,
on that coattails a bit. You
Yeah.
could tell that they got a lot of stars to do it because of that.
Yeah,
It's just, I mean, I think people should check it. I would be interesting to see what other people think of it, to be honest.
and I think if you would particularly like that sort of. I don't want to say yeehaw humor, but it is pretty much. There's lots of shouting, lots of like screaming, and be like woo, kind of. That's I don't know. It's an odd one to talk about because
It's so, the bits it does well, it does really well. And the
Yeah.
bits that it doesn't, you're like, yikes.
I mean, even we watched this on Prime.
Yeah.
And even Prime was just like, that's going to offend some people.
Did they put a warning on there? I didn't know.
Yeah, because I told you right at the start, because I was watching it on my TV,
Yeah.
and I had paused it right at the start so we could watch it, and it said, contains like violence, sexual references. It might have just said contains Jessica Simpson, I don't know, but like contains all that, and then contains blackface.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it literally pointed it out at the start, and I was like, "What the
What?
fuck?" Because I was just like, "Hang on."
Yeah.
It's such a weird one.
It
Like
is.
the rest of the
The
film
rest of the film, though, it's so
is actually
good.
just a
They
good
just
time.
edited all that out. It would still be savageable.
Yeah, I mean there are like 700 different ways in which you could do that plot reveal of like, oh, the town is going to be turned into a mine of. It's like a metal mine or something like
Yeah,
that.
they were
they're
just
doing.
going to destroy Duke's
Yeah,
Hazard.
destroy the
Hazard
town
County,
to make
that was it.
and all you would have had to do again with that car is just have like Bo and Luke just be like, what the fuck is this flag, man? Can you just paint like the regular American flag on it?
Or just not
That's
have
all-
a flag on it at all. They didn't even
No,
need
it
to
ha-
mention it. They could
Yeah,
have just put the
but-
America flag on there, not mention it at all, like you
Like-
said. No,
I think the people who would have been offended that there wasn't a Confederate flag on the Dukes of Hazzard
do you think
car,
it'd be the fans
probably
of
the people
TV
you shouldn't
show,
be
maybe?
listening.
Yeah,
Yeah, but even
That's the
so,
only thing I
they're
can think of.
But there are also probably people that, if they're annoyed at not seeing a Confederate flag on something, they're probably not people worth listening to. I don't know, like...
Yeah, they should have
Like-
painted it blue. Then if they painted it blue, people would complain about that more. Instead of
Yeah.
red.
Yeah,
There
if
we
you
go.
change the entire
Change
colour of the
entire
car...
colour of the car. People complain so much about that, they wouldn't notice the flag.
Yeah. Anywho, let's move skipping merrily along into our
Duology.
our adventure duology of National Treasure.
National Treasure, baby!
Which you were very eager to watch. You were very
watched-
eager to watch both of these.
I'd only watched the first one once when it came out, and I remember really liking it, but I also have some false memories about this film.
Well, will you just give us the very short plot synopsis of this, Lottie? And see.
A historian races to find the legendary Templar treasure before a team of mercenaries.
You feel like that's been just cut off halfway through, but no, that's literally all IMDb says about it.
And again,
it's so
I guess
weird.
it is, that one's true.
Technically, but it's leaving out a bunch of stuff.
It basically is just, they should have just said a historian steals the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Because that's
Like,
basically the main part. That's the
That's
best
the main
part.
hook of the film, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
stealing the Declaration of Independence. It's great
Yeah.
fun. But it's
So
a bit of a heist historian film.
yeah.
But the reason
It's,
that I originally watched it was because I watched the trailer, which I never usually do. And it
You
was
never
like
do,
Secret
no.
Lies with Charlotte and then Nick Cage's face. And I was like, well, I got to watch it now.
The Secret Lies with Charlotte.
Yeah.
You kept mentioning this. And it is right at the start of the film. They're in, like, the Arctic or something, aren't they? They're in, like...
They was trying
Alaska.
to find Charlotte, which turns
Yeah.
out to be a boat.
Yes,
It
it
went
turns out to be an
missing.
old, like... An old... Not even a warship, just like a cargo ship or something, isn't it?
I don't know.
Old Civil War cargo ship.
No, it's British.
Oh, yeah, it is British, isn't
It's
it?
a
I
British
forget
ship.
about that.
Just like me.
You're not a ship, Lottie. You are a human being.
I'm a human being, but I
Yeah.
float.
I mean, I guess. It doesn't make you a boat.
I could be a boat for, say, small animals. Boat for mice.
Anywho, all right. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the National Treasure, so IMDb give this a 6.9.
Oh yeah,
It's very high.
yeah, it's
very
high, but I
yeah.
think it deserved that. At the time, it was
Metacritic?
good.
Give it a 40 out of 100. So not
Oh,
great.
they're just Nicolas
but-
Cage haters. Haters.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. I will say, for a film that has Nicolas Cage in it, he's not very crazy
He
Nicolas
plays
Cage.
it so straight in this. Like
yeah.
there is a comic relief character, but it's not Nicolas Cage.
Oh my
You
god,
really
he's
didn't like him.
He's such a whingy bitch. I mean,
thought
like,
he was alright.
I mean, I think he's
He
meant to
reminded
be
me
the
of
sort
you,
of.
Fred.
Okay. As soon as I said it, I thought, yeah, that's going to come back to bite me in the ass. But that's the thing. I think he's meant to be. What even is his character's name? Is it Owen or something like that?
No,
Or
it's
I wanna-
Riley.
Riley.
How could you
I
forget
don't-
Riley's name? He's the important part of both of these films. They wouldn't
He's
exist
not.
without Riley.
He's very important in the first part of this film, and then he's not important in any of the
How
other films.
could you? He's there.
You know
so
I'm telling
that-
the truth.
He's there so that the girls can swoon. I assume that's the reason he was there. Some sort of eye candy for girls. Because he has
You have
that.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, but Nicolas Cage is a bit older, whereas he had that very much of the time hair and face. Riley.
Very much of the time, hair and face.
Yes,
Okay.
you know, like a boy band face.
Oh, he's such a whingy little bitch, though.
I mean, I assumed he was there as fan service for girls, but I'm not very
Yeah.
good at noticing these things, so maybe I was wrong.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's I don't know. He's the sort of tech support, because when they're actually breaking in and stealing the Declaration of Independence, he's very useful.
Yes.
He has all these like schematics, and he knows what to do with security
It's like,
cameras.
you need to do this, and then go
Yeah.
here, and then grab that, and then but watch
Yeah.
out for this, and fingerprints and laser beams. I don't
Yeah.
know if there were laser beams, but maybe.
But then, as soon as they get away, because the whole thing is Nicolas Cage and Sean Bean at the start of the film are working together. Sean Bean
Yeah,
being the
they're-
bad guy of the film.
They're treasure
um,
hunters, basically.
Yeah, and
Searching
they're
for
trying
treasure.
to. What are they even trying to find?
They're
in
trying
this
to
film?
find the Templar treasure. I that was the bit of the synopsis that I read out earlier. The Templar
But
treasure.
what is the Templar treasure?
It's just it's the treasure that is so great that no one man can own it. Do you remember? Because it made kings go crazy and things. They had this whole explanation at the beginning of the film.
Yeah,
I remember this film a
that's
lot
fine.
better than you.
Yeah, that's fine. But what is the actual thing?
Do you remember
Oh.
we went into the room and we saw it all? There was like gold
Oh, it's just
and,
a whole load of
and
like
books.
ancient artifacts.
From the Library of Alexander the Great, stuff like that, and then shiny things for Riley to play with.
Okay, so we're getting to the crux of like why I kind of forgot and didn't.
How could you forget this film, Fred?
Well, it's not that I forgot it. It's just that it is a serviceable action thriller.
I'd say it's more of a heist film, really.
My first note that I made about it, which was like the sort of like main thing that stuck in my head, was it was a weird history lesson of America told through the lens of a Da Vinci Code style thriller.
That's the thing. I don't know a lot about American history, but I feel like some of the stuff we learned might not have been true.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you have to fudge it a little for, like, and I'm sure, like, of course, with the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown probably wrote, like, he was just like, that is not true, but it's just gonna fucking have to work for the purposes of my story, and screw the rest.
You've got some, what was it, artistic license?
That's exactly it, yeah. But, like, so I went back to, like, the start of the film. Sean Bean and Nick Cage are working together
to find Charlotte.
Sean Bean sets up the inevitable betrayal. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Because they realise that what they need, the next clue, is on the back of the Declaration of Independence, and Sean Bean, Nick Cage is like, I love America so much that I would never do that.
And Sean being British is just like
it's just a piece of paper, mate. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's just a piece of paper, mate.
That's basically what he says.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but I forgot it. Like, I just have this image of Sean Bean. It's just a piece of paper, mate, and then found.
I was like, I'll put it back.
Yeah, but I think one of the annoying things about this whole Sean Bean being the bad guy and like constantly hunting down Nick Cage, you know, to get the Declaration of Independence off each other, like, is that they're just not very good bad guys. They are very watered down.
Yeah, they're not very competent. They're like, I'm going to catch you. Now I've captured you, I don't know what to do.
Now I've captured you. Could you figure out the rest of all these puzzles for me?
Yeah.
And there's several scenes where they go back to Sean Bean and he's desperately trying to figure out the next stage of the puzzle, to the fact that it is so surprising that Nicolas Cage didn't solve the entire thing before Sean Bean got to step 2. You know,
I mean, it was about American history. Nicolas Cage had that head start. I don't know anything about American history. I'm sure Sean Bean probably knows the same as I do.
Also, you speaking of Sean Bean,
yes,
who is famous for dying, you thought he died in the film.
I was convinced that he died in this film.
I was convinced I was going to find out exactly how many times he's died in films, because I know I'd read this in an article on like Screen Rant or Games Radar.
He dies less than you think, but people have false memories.
Yeah,
just like I did. I was like, yeah, of course he dies in this film. He's Sean Bean.
I was looking at this article, and it was basically like the reason people have associated him with dying so much is that in a very short space of time, relatively speaking, there were like 3 or 4 high-profile films he was in.
Yeah, really big
and
ones.
TV shows that he died in. I mean, there was GoldenEye. GoldenEye, he was the bad guy. Lord of the Rings. That I think he died in.
Although spoiler.
The Island. The Island was a big. I think it was The Island that I saw in the article, that there was a big like Michael Bay action film with Ewan McGregor, and he dies in that. And then there's Game of Thrones as well, where he dies very early on.
He just dies in the really memorable ones. Well, but apart from National Treasure, apparently he does not die in this film. But he does go to prison for a long time.
I want to bring up the numbers, though. So apparently he's only died on screen 24 times out of 122 acting appearances.
Still quite a lot.
The most.
But then
the article was just like, who has died the most? The most is not actually anyone I would have considered. Is it
Wilhelm from the Wilhelm scream?
Oh, I'd love if you could count the Wilhelm scream on it. That'd be great. It is Danny Trejo, who you might have seen from films like Spy Kids and like Machete and stuff like that. Very big, gruff Mexican actor. He's died 65 times.
Oh, he just loves playing a villain then.
He's also been in like 420 films or TV shows.
There we go. So it's about the same percentage then, isn't it?
probably,
Yeah.
but he's
In
still
fact,
died
I think
more.
Sean Bean's got a higher percentage than him. If 65
At
to
the
400 to what to yeah.
Um,
Wow.
But yeah,
he doesn't
I
die
don't
in
know.
this. Even
doesn't.
even the fact that I was convinced he does, and I've told everyone I know that he does not. So sorry, everyone.
You were
I
telling
was,
me throughout the
I was
entire
spreading
film
rumours about
that you
poor
was
old
like-
Sean Bean. I was like, oh, don't worry, he'll die in a minute. Doesn't die though. Poor old
Yeah.
Sean.
you were getting me all excited for a Sean
Someone
Bean death
does
scene.
die. It's just not him.
Yeah, he falls down a very long shaft.
I don't
Very
even
long,
remember
like,
who
tunnel
died.
shaft.
I just remember it's not Sean Bean.
Well, that's the thing. They make a point of like
There are
they kind
bad
of make
guys,
a point
but
of
they're-
doing this henchman thing where like Nicolas Cage and Sean Bean have this team of adventurers that they're with,
And
all
Riley.
of the adventurers and Riley and all of the adventurers go off with Sean Bean
apart from
and
Riley.
become his kind of squad, and Nick Cage gets Riley, who sucks.
What are you talking about? Riley's great.
He sucks.
He's
He
good
sucks
with
so much.
computers, and he
That's
has
all.
and he has a sassy sense of humour.
I mean, I get he's meant to be like the audience kind of graft. You're meant to like relate to. He's meant to be the
He's
relatable
saying
character.
what we're all thinking.
Except he's not, because he's saying it in a way where it's just like, well, that's fucking. I want to figure some of this stuff out as well. Let me figure out the things. I'm clever too.
He is. He's
That's
a
it.
clever
That's
boy.
it. That's it. He
Oh,
keeps
wow.
spending the entire film saying, I'm clever too, and trying his hardest to prove that he's clever.
He just want Nick Cage attention because there was some weird stuff going on between those two. But that
It
brings
is-
us along to the female lead, of which there is one.
Of which there is one, and
Um,
again, is there to be a female lead with no chemistry to Nick Cage.
Yeah, this was the problem. I think Nick Cage and Riley had more chemistry than the female lead did. Which,
But a Disney film in early
Yeah.
2000s was not going to have a chance at a gay relationship lead.
exactly, which made Riley's going, I'm clever too, just made him sound really jealous.
Yeah, well, how dare Nick Cage like this woman just because she's apparently smart
I
and
was
knows
here
American
too.
history. I like computers. And they're like, okay, Riley, calm down and sit in the corner. This is the thing, because for like the entire film, he has that great, like, you know, Mission Impossible style helping thing where
He
apart from
doesn't
where
have
he
a
gets,
lot
like,
to do.
killed, but,
I give you that.
But he has that whole thing during the Declaration stealing where
He was quite useful
he
there.
helps out a lot. And then for the rest of the film, they don't need to use like a single computer again.
I think it probably would have been better if they just left him behind at that
Yeah.
siege and be like, well, we can't go back to Riley because they'll arrest him.
And that's the thing. I don't know if Da
But
Vinci
they bring
Code
him
had
along
already
for the
been
whole
out.
thing.
If Da Vinci Code, because I can't remember when this film was made. It'll be on screen now.
It was.
But like,
Oh, I forgot.
yeah,
too.
I don't exactly. I don't know. So I don't know if Da Vinci
I
Code
think
had
it was
already been made.
2007.
But like, I think maybe they were trying to avoid comparisons to it by
Right.
not having it just be like a male and female lead. Like in Da Vinci Code, we
They
had
needed
Tom
an
Hanks
an
and
extra person.
whoever the other person was. I can't remember the female lead in that. But yeah, so maybe that's why they put Riley in there for like the audience
I
kind of,
thought
you know,
they put him there for the kids.
maybe true, because yeah, there are a lot of deep cuts into American history, obviously.
Yeah, and Riley's like, stop saying history stuff. You're so boring.
He is.
Which
Like,
is kind of what I was feeling at the time. Like, this is great,
Yeah.
and I love how much Nick Cage loves America, but I don't really care.
yeah, this is our takeaway from it
Maybe
as well.
maybe
Is that
if
like
we were American, we'd
Yeah.
feel something a bit more.
I say, my last bullet point of this is may hit different if you're an American, but to us it's just a bit dull.
Yeah.
Because like we just don't care about
I mean,
American history.
It was nice to hear about the British ship. I liked that part.
Oh, yeah, but like yeah, it's just
They
like
had
oh,
a
you
cool ass
got-
pipe.
Yeah, and you have to know about like the exact placement of the Liberty Bell.
It was in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And like we haven't even mentioned the fact that John Voight is his father and like
Oh,
comes
yeah.
along with them for most of the film
Yeah,
and
they
gets
were
his
they
phone
were sort of
tapped. And,
estranged. No, the
yeah,
phone tapping was the
it's
second film.
it's
They
all
were
very
estranged, and
weird.
then they came together over the Declaration of Independence and the fact that he finally got a girlfriend, because the only person he'd brought home beforehand was Riley. I think they made a comment about that.
Oh, did I forgot completely about that?
So which
Like-
again was like,
But that's the thing, like
Well-
it has a lot of like weird missteps, but it's still an enjoyable little romp. It's an
it's
enjoyable
really-
like
it's-
treasure
it's
hunting
fun.
romp.
It is fun, despite the we're poking fun of it. I mean, I wasn't bored.
It doesn't. It just seems to be all too easy for Nick Cage and his team. Like
Yes, definitely.
even when
But I
the
kind
stakes
of-
are high
I
and the
kind
bad
of
guys
liked
are
how
coming in.
easy it was for him. It just made
Yeah.
him look even cooler. He was very
I mean,
cool in this.
I gave it a B. I'm not gonna lie. I gave it a B. I felt that was quite high for it, but again, it is not
I think it's
a bad film. It's not badly made. It's just too easy, and there's no bad guy.
well, there is, but he just doesn't die. Actually, you know what? I would say there is a bad guy in this, and that is Sean Bean. He is bad. He kidnaps some people, and he does
Who
leave
does he
them. He
kidnap?
leaves them for dead. He kidnaps Riley and the female lead. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've forgotten her name.
Yeah, I forgot
Abigail?
the name completely.
There we go, Abigail.
Abigail,
He
that's
kidnaps
it, yes.
Riley and Abigail, and then he leaves them for dead in a crypt under a church in New York. But it's okay because they find the secret treasure room and all the treasure. Yay!
Oh yeah, but that's the whole thing of Sean Bean being dumb, the character being dumb, because Nicolas Cage is there as well. They all go down into that crypt, which is where one of those henchmen dies, which you thought was Sean Bean.
Yes.
And then they basically go, "Oh, this is a dead end. The final clue is not here." And they tell Sean Bean that it's in Boston or something. And they give him some spiel about like, "Oh yeah, this is
And
how we know the
They
next
set
clue."
him up basically
And
to
they
get
set him up
arrested
to
by
go
the
to
FBI.
Boston. Yeah, but actually,
Because it turns out
The-
the FBI wanted this. They wanted the Declaration of Independence back.
oh yeah, like you probably would. What do you give this film, Lottie?
I was debating whether it should have an A or a B.
And
I
what did
think
you
it
give
might have to have an A.
Oh, okay.
I
I mean,
think it might have to have an A. I had a lot of fun with it. I would watch it again.
I feel that's a bit high.
I'm glad
But
that Nicolas
at the
Cage
same
didn't
time,
die. Or Sean Bean.
But at the same time, I kind of understand it. Like
Yeah.
again, it's an enjoyable little romp.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
You kind
good
of want-
actors and they're competent.
yeah, you kind of want there to be a bit more. I think that you just want there to be a bit more at stake, I guess. Speaking of, we'll go straight on to National Treasure 2, The Book
Electric
of Secrets.
Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. Yes, sorry, I misspoke there. It's called Book of Secrets, but we all know it's called Electric Boogaloo. Do you want to read us the little plot synopsis?
Yes, but
for this one,
before I
Lottie?
do, can you just remind me what Nicolas Cage's character name is? His full character name.
Benjamin Franklin Gates.
There we go.
Because it's as dumb as fucking rocks.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
It's just so. I mean, I wouldn't have remembered it off the top of my head, but his name
It was mentioned
is
and
in
we
this
started laughing, which is a really horrible
Yeah.
thing to do. But never mind. Benjamin Gates must follow a clue left in John Wilkes Booth's diary to prove his ancestors' innocence in the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. I'm not sure I did the John Wilkes Booths there, but there we go.
John Wilkes's booths.
John Wilkes Booths.
How many booths does he have?
Yeah. That might actually be a real person.
John Wilkes's booth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has got again a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb and a 48 out of 100 on Metacritic. So it's creeping up there.
I feel
feel-
like this suffered from the same problem as Charlie's Angels 2.
Rushed and doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the weird thing is that everybody came back. The
Yes,
three main
so
leads, Abigail,
John Voight.
Nick,
John Voight comes back as well.
and,
yeah.
and the FBI agent. who
Yes, the
we've
FBI
neglected
agent
to
played
mention.
by. Harvey Keitel, who seems to be this savvy. It's like revealed at the end of the first film that he's like a Freemason as well, isn't he? He's secretly a Freemason
He
and he's
secretly
happy.
runs the world, I think. Is
It's yeah.
something like that.
But he's he's okay. It's like the sort of, and I'm going to ruin another film for people. It's like
no.
kind of end of Now You See Me, which was a like film about magicians. It's
I
not
have
really
seen
an
that.
action. Yeah, but at the end of that film, you find out that the cop that's been chasing them the entire time is actually the ringleader of the entire thing.
Yeah, that was
and
really stupid.
yeah, so it's kind of like that twist, because like he's trying to stop them, but at the end of the first film, he's just like, you found the treasure. That's fair enough.
It's like, I'm glad you found the treasure because it turns out I'm a secret keeper of it. So I'll make
Yeah.
sure that it gets distributed the way it should to all the museums in all the world.
Yeah. So Harvey Keitel is like very pleasing to watch in this film. He kind of has that sort of like charm to him. You're just like, I know I'm in a stupid adventure film. Let's just have fun with it.
And that's the
And-
way you should play it, I think.
Yeah. But he doesn't have a lot to do in either film. He's kind of playing catch up, but in a way where he doesn't really mind that he's playing catch up.
Yeah, he's just sort of... You can tell that he's just watching from the shadows, waiting to see which way this is going to go before picking a side.
Yeah. Okay, so the second film,
It was a bit of a mess.
it is. The first bullet point is basically like my entire feeling on the film. It's like the film has such little stakes in its setup. Basically, the Gates are annoyed that their ancestor may have been part of the Lincoln assassination. He was. End of. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
he was in the end, even if it was unintentional.
Yeah.
My first note is, it is bigger, but it is worser.
it is dumber.
As in, yeah, it's just that Charlie's Angels 2 problem with it. It needs a lot of tidying up story-wise. It's
Yeah.
not very clear about what's happening, why it's happening, or why we should care.
Yes, because they start off with this whole thing of the bad guy of this film, who's played, I will say, played very well and very menacingly by Ed Harris.
He's not
But it's-
really the bad guy, though, is he?
No, this is the thing. Like,
This film doesn't have a villain. That's why. That's one of my bullet points. Who was the villain? Because I know Sean Bean was the villain of the first one, but I'm not entirely sure who was supposed to be the villain of this one.
so that's true. However, throughout most of this film, Ed Harris, and he does this mainly from virtue of looking like Ed Harris, who, like, even if I was having a nice pleasant conversation with him, I feel he was about to like stab me randomly at any minute, because he's just got like a very intimidating face. But Ed Harris does have like more of a kind of like a vendetta, like a mean streak. He like taps people's phones. He like
Yeah, he
actually
knocks
has
out his
armed
dad.
henchmen going after people. Like, he's got more of a kind of ruthless mean guy streak to him. But at the end of the film, he suddenly has this sort of
He sacrifices
good guy.
himself
Yeah.
to save everyone else.
He has a good guy kind of sacrificial shift in tone, and it's just like, why? Why would you do that? Like, but because he basically goes, the film. Oh my god, the film goes through this whole, basically this circus act of jumping through hoops, where they have to find the President's Book of Secrets, which is like
It's a secret book of secrets written by presidents.
it's a conspiracy theorist's wet dream, essentially.
But we know where
It's
it is because the film told us, so if we go to Congress, we could probably find it.
Oh my god, the amount of people who've probably tried to sneak into that very area of the Library of Congress and gotten their asses handed to
probably
them.
wasn't even filmed there just to make sure that didn't happen.
That wouldn't have stopped people,
Oh,
Lottie,
no.
you know it.
Oh
You know it
no,
wouldn't
well, that means they've got extra measures for when we go there.
We are not going there. I'm not letting you anywhere near the Library of
I
Congress.
definitely need to steal the Declaration of Independence, though, right? Just in case.
Yes, and, you know, the next episode of this will not air because Lottie is now spending life behind bars in an American prison.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, will you?
I'll be fine.
Okay.
It's a federal crime, right?
But-
So I'll get to go to the nice prison.
But yeah. Yes, I forgot about the nice prisons they have in America. Yeah, I forgot about those ones. But this is the thing, like, they find out that they have to get this specific, like, code or this specific... What they need is in the President's Book of Secrets, which is a conspiracy theory wonder
that was
book.
the blurb. The blurb on Disney Plus for when we were looking at this film was that Benjamin Gates has to kidnap the president in order to prove his ancestors' innocent. And that was very deceptive because he doesn't kidnap the president. He just has a chat with him in a tunnel.
He sets up like an elaborate
In a way that
diversion
it
at a
plausible
party.
deniability that it was just all an accident. But
Yeah.
it doesn't really happen.
Yeah, because like the president
I guess
has
that's
this,
the
like,
one
very...
up from the Declaration of Independence. You have to steal the president.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He immediately like lets the president go, and this is the thing. Like it does the whole thing of like, yes, in order to get to this Book of Secrets, they have to kidnap the president in air quotes, and he does it.
They just need to ask him where it is. They don't need to kidnap him.
Yeah, and it's such a small part of the film. Like you said, it feels like it could have been handled so differently. Like, everyone in the country seems to know who Benjamin Gates is because of the success of the events of the first film.
Yeah. To
So
the fact that everyone thinks that Riley is him, and Riley gets upset.
So the fact that like the president wouldn't know who this guy is and wouldn't want to have a meeting with him and wouldn't give him the time of day and being like, oh, okay, maybe I could show you.
I think
what
it
this
was
is.
because his reputation's being tarnished by the fact that his ancestor may have killed Abraham Lincoln.
That's also true.
I think
but
that he got disinvited from everything. Man.
but at this, that's such a weird thing though, because like
I don't know enough about American culture to know that how much they value their ancestors when it comes to stuff like this.
it feels like on a similar level of like if I found out like my ancestor was like
Killed the king.
Guy Fawkes or something, or Jack the Ripper or something like that.
Well,
You know,
I'd be a bit worried if it was Jack the Ripper.
Would that change how you see me?
I'd say Guy Fawkes no, because he was a person who was doing something because he believed in it a lot. Jack the Ripper just sounded a bit, like he had a mental illness that could be passed down to you, so I'd be a bit more worried.
Over like 300 years, or however long Jack the Ripper was. When was Jack the Ripper alive? I don't know. But like
pass before
exactly.
forensics.
Before we can prove any of this is real. Anyway, but like, it's like
Also,
okay.
they never found out who he was, so it'd be very difficult to prove.
True, yeah. And I was like, so you're the long lost descendant of like John Wilkes Booth or Thomas Gates or whoever the fuck they were talking about, and it's like he might have had a hand in assassinating Abraham Lincoln. Okay, that doesn't actually say anything about Nicolas Cage's character or his family.
No,
and it doesn't
you can't judge sins of the father
tarnish
sort
their
of thing.
reputation.
I think they care about it more than anyone else.
But why? Because it doesn't.
Some people
it
just
doesn't...
care about things like this, especially if you hold someone up in your family. My grandfather was a great hero who tried to save that, and then that's suddenly all. And don't forget, John Voight's character remembers hearing it.
But it's interesting
From the source.
Sure, but it doesn't mean it.
It's hard when
the
your
hatred
hero
that
falls.
the hatred that the country seems then to have
I
towards
feel like that makes a little
him.
less sense, but it makes more sense for him personally and his father. Less
For Nick
sense for the
Cage and John
country.
Voight to be like, oh yeah, this is tarnishing our family's name,
But-
oh my god, why would you do this? I get kind of that aspect of it, but for everyone else in the film to just be like, everything you have done to this point is discredited
Well,
because
they
your
didn't
ancestor.
say that.
They kind of do,
They
though.
don't. You're being mean now. Well, all he wants to do is clear his name. or his ancestor's name, and so he just goes about doing it, and that takes him to London, where he has to sneak in to find a desk in Buckingham Palace, which is a bit weird because the film suggests that you can just take tours of Buckingham Palace. You really can't. It's where the Queen lives.
Yeah. Yeah, they take a tour and then somehow dive out the way and unlock one of those like puzzle tables. It's a very odd scene.
And then they realise there's a twin desk for that in the Oval
White House,
Office, which is harder to get into than the Queen's house.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I forgot about that. That's good.
Yeah, so that's how they get Abigail. She can help them get in there.
Yeah.
Abigail's back, but I think they learn the lesson of there's not much chemistry between them because they try to give Nicolas Cage's father a love interest in Nicolas Cage's mother.
Helen Mirren. Yes.
And that also doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, what is more stupid about this film? Like, probably and I think I audibly, was
it the treasure was under Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, then that was the audible moment where they all figure out, Ed Harris, Nick Cage, Jon Voight, they all figure out at the same time that, the final...
so good.
It turns from them trying to prove that Thomas Gates is innocent to them discovering the existence of a city of gold.
Yeah, that was
that
it.
Is
the
somehow,
city of gold that's under Mount Rushmore, and
that
that's
is
why
somehow
they
under
caved their names, their faces in there to hide the fact that there was a city of gold underneath. They're like, oh, we got to get rid of these landmarks. Let's carve our faces in there.
And they're just like,
oh, it's great when they go under there. They find it. This gold looks like it's been polished daily. It's so shiny, and as soon as they find it, of course, it starts sinking for some reason. I think a lake starts flowing into it. It's
the
weird thing is that the Nicolas Cage there, Abigail is there, Nicolas Cage's mother and father are there, Riley is there, and they go through this whole hike up to Mount Rushmore. They go down to the City of Gold. They escape drowning in the City of Gold, and then as soon as they finish, I think Riley goes up to his mum, Nicolas Cage's mum, saying, "Oh, hi, I don't think we've met. My name is Riley." And that got me. I was like, you just spent the whole day hiking with her. Did you not say hello beforehand?
Like what? It's so dumb. It's
so dumb, but it's so funny.
The Mount Rushmore reveal.
Oh, I think it was funny. Oh, that was
because.
Great.
What they do is they go to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
They go up to the back of Mount Rushmore where there's a lake, and then it's literally just like they solve some random puzzle, and then a bunch of stones fall out of a wall because they've solved this puzzle, and it's literally a wall that's very easily accessible to any member of the public.
Well, it's just a miracle no one's found this, Fred.
And it's just how have you not just been but it was there is an entire city of gold under Mount Rushmore. Fuck off, film. Okay, I don't care.
Well, this is what we're going to have to do. After I steal the Declaration of Independence, we're going to go find the City of Gold, Fred.
It's
under Mount Rushmore. It's lost, but we will find it.
Okay. We've seen a lot of stupid shit watching the films for this, but if we were to make a top 5 thing of stupid plot devices or the plot reveals, the Mount Rushmore City of Gold, probably for me, in my memory of all these films that we watched, is probably the most ridiculous thing we've ever seen in these films.
Surely we can think of something more ridiculous than that.
I mean, it's probably up there with, Keanu Reeves surviving John Wick 3. He
was fine. The fact that he hit everything on the way down slowed him down a bit.
That's what I say. He falls off a fucking skyscraper
and he hits everything on the way down, which means he doesn't hit that maximum velocity. That's just science, Fred.
Good God, I love the John Wick films, but Keanu Reeves should have died 70 times during that film.
He is a hardy human.
He's so hardy.
Yeah.
But the Mount Rushmore thing of just there being a literal Do they say it's like Aztec or something? They say it. They try and like do the dating thing, like
I don't
when
think
it
they
was
said
like.
it was Aztec because that's South America, isn't it? I don't remember what they said. It did look very Aztec though.
But
to
they
be honest.
try and like say like, oh, this is of a specific era. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
it's,
but
you know.
I mean, at that point, were we really paying attention?
No, I think
they
we were
lost
just
me at
laughing
Mount
too hard.
Rushmore.
But yeah, the fact that there is this entire city of gold underneath Mount Rushmore that no one in modern science has been able to detect for any reason,
Well,
not just
it's because it's under
accidentally.
some rocks, Fred. You can't see under rocks. That's impossible.
Yeah, we definitely. Oh, I can't even like
What
comprehend the stupidity
Do you
of
know
it.
what
Like,
should have happened is when they were going to the core, maybe they could have found it then. Oh, hey, what did we just pass? I think it was a city of gold. We must remember that when we're coming back.
the alternate way they get down in the core is that they just like bore through the lake in Mount Rushmore, and they like think it's going to be this solid body of water, and they just come out of this city of gold. They're like, what the? Aaron Eckhart's just like, are you fucking seeing this shit?
And nobody say anything, and we'll discover this when we get back, okay?
Stanley Tucci's just like, I'm too rich for this shit. Keep going. I fucking love the core. Can we just watch the core again?
We could watch the core again, but you do have to get up early.
Yeah, we don't have enough time to watch the film tonight.
We'll
We'll have a double bill on Friday.
Yeah, we can watch the core then.
But what are you giving National Treasure DOS? Yes, it's a C for me as well, actually.
It's not the worst offender, but oof.
No. It's
just
dumb
a bit
as
of
rocks.
a hot mess.
It's one of the dumbest, and again, it does rely on you liking a lot of American history and being like, oh yeah, America,
and
fuck
probably
yeah.
Also, you probably do need to see the National Treasure 1 for it to make sense at all. So it's one of these sequels that it doesn't work if you just watch it on your own.
Yeah,
on its own.
There is actually a bright spark in it, in that Nicolas Cage does get to ham it up quite a lot. He does get to do the insanity thing,
and of course Riley's back, and he has even less to do in this. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't actually think he has a single thing.
He writes a book
to contribute. Yeah, but he does that in between films, so it doesn't count.
Does he need? I think he might have hacked into the Buckingham Palace security system. Maybe, I can't remember. But he doesn't have a whole lot to do. But he's there. And the fact that he's there made me happy because you weren't.
We're friends, really.
Sometimes when you're watching this film, other people's reactions are more entertaining than the film itself. So
yeah, well, this actually we are recording this not like half an hour after I posted the Need for Speed short, like of you looking absolutely bored as fuck at Need for Speed. So
I mean, oh, what a finale that was. Boy.
That was so good, yeah. Oh my god. Well, that's gonna be it for this week. I don't know what our next 3 films are, but you know what? Either we'll do the TV thing, we'll do the TV adaptation, or I shall spin the wheel 3 times.
Or we'll try another Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but we're not covering those until we've watched every single one of them.
What? When did that happen? We're only doing 3 films at a time. Can't do 7.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it'll be a special bonus long episode.
Oh my god! When did you decide this?
I decided this. I'm sure I decided this in a conversation with you. Definitely.
You were just. I was just saying about how we should watch it on Friday. You didn't mention it then.
Maybe we should not do that on Friday. Maybe we should make it like an actual thing we can do. Anyway, let's.
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
And by conversation, I mean an argument.
Yeah, for when we hang up, for when we stop recording, and then Lottie immediately goes, "What
the heck? 7 films, 1 day? Are you insane?
Are you insane?" Yes, I am insane. I decided to watch shitty action films
That's true.
A reason.
That's true. This has been about 2 years of it now. And we're still going strong.
And we still have
a lot to go.
I would say at least like 60 films on the list to go.
And they're making them as we speak. There are some that,
Yeah.
we'll probably watch that haven't even been released yet.
Amazing to think of that. Yes. Right. Well,
I'm
thank you
looking
very
at
much for
Red Notice
watching.
2.
For listen. Oh, for God, Red Notice 2. I really hope they never make that film. That does not need to be made. It does not need to be made.
Next time on Fred and Lottie.
Okay, just a quick tidbit. Whilst I was editing that episode, I forgot Red Notice existed because I brought in the audio. I brought in I brought in the audio, and then the very next thing I did was I brought in the posters for the film, and I went, the one, Need for Speed, and
I feel like that film is the equivalent of the Men in Black.
It's the red light from Men in
Yeah.
Black. Yes, it is. Like literally, I'm sat there looking at my windows, my files, looking at all the poster
Something
names,
missing, but what is
and
it?
I'm just like, what film was it? What film did we talk about in this episode?
I'm gonna have to listen
Need
to
for
it.
Speed. and I was just like, I scrolled down. I was just like, I saw the poster for Red Notice, and I was like, Red Notice,
Red
of course.
Notice, that was it. Red Notice.
Such a forgettable film.
Yeah.
Such a forgettable film.
Such a shame because it
really is. Yeah.
had me excited and then thoroughly disappointed. But anyway, we've already spoke about Red Notice.
And let's spoik about some more films next week.
Yes.
Or next episode.
Next
whenever
episode.
It will be. We got to get watching some films,
We've got to watch
laddies.
3 films between now and
Yeah.
then. So let's get started.
Woohoo! See you next time, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Bye.